Hello, I'm Daniel. I'm going to read to you a little verse from this text, Trust in Mind, which I really love, and then I'm going to comment on it some, and then we're going to do a meditation practice, okay? So this is the verse I want to read to you. It's just one line. It's really short. When you try to stop activity to achieve passivity, your very effort fills you with activity. When you try to stop activity to achieve passivity, your very effort fills you with activity. I feel like the translator could have picked maybe better words. But what are we talking about here? We are talking about the way we sometimes tend to come at meditation practice. So that is unbalanced. We come at meditation practice in an unbalanced way. Some people come at it in a sort of, well, I'll meditate when I feel like it. I'll meditate when I feel like it. And that leads to not really meditating. That is coming at it too loosely, I think. And then other people come at it too tightly. They come at it really aggressively. They think, well, I'm just gonna empty my mind. I'm gonna sit here. They hold on like this. They think, I'm just going to empty my mind. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to sit really hard, and I'm going to get somewhere. I'm going to get somewhere today. And both of those are a little bit problematic. If we're too relaxed coming at our meditation practice, then what are we going to do? We're not really going to do it. That was when I first learned how to meditate. That was my view. I just thought, oh, well, I'm just going to meditate when I feel like it, when the mood strikes me. And it's just like anything else for self-development. It's just like, I'm just going to exercise when the mood strikes me, or I'm just going to eat vegetables when the mood strikes me, right? The mood's not going to strike you that much, probably. So it's better to have a different plan than I'm going to meditate when I feel like it. A better plan than I'm going to meditate when I feel like it. It can be helpful to meditate when you feel like it, especially if you know, oh, I'm stressed out lately. I need to get back in my meditation practice. Okay, but a better thing to do is have just a consistent practice. This is my plan. I'm going to meditate this day, and this day for this amount of time. And that's how I'm going to do it. That's a better way to come at it. So, the opposite of that is just something that we do in the West sometimes, which is where we're extremely goal-oriented and aggressive. And we think, well, I'm going to do this for this amount of time, and I'm going to have this result, and it has to be that way. And if it's not that way, my day is going to be ruined. And that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about trying too hard, because even at things that are good for us, like meditation, we can try too hard. And what do I mean by that? I mean by that, one of the things I always say when I'm teaching is we want to have a passive attitude. A passive attitude. What does that mean? That means that when we're sitting and our meditation feels like it's going nowhere and it's a constant struggle, we don't want to beat ourselves up. We don't want to think, oh, this isn't working. I'm not good enough for this. Or, right? We don't want to beat ourselves up and judge ourselves harshly. We just want to keep going. Because the truth is that trying to meditate counts as meditating. Trying to meditate counts as meditating. And once we know that trying to meditate counts as meditating, then we should be okay. It's such a struggle at times, though, because we really want to sit down and feel like something's happening, and we really want to be able to maybe slow down our thoughts or not be so completely distracted, because the truth is, in our meditation practice, a lot of the time, we are so completely distracted, and it is so hard to just keep going. But that is what our goal is. That is what this is about. It's about keep going when it's hard. It's about training the mind. So it's just like if you're doing training to run a 5K and you're running and then you realize you hate being sweaty and then you quit. It's sort of like that. We're meditating, we're training our minds, and if we realize we hate sitting still and paying attention to our minds, then we might quit. We might quit. So that is the aspect of struggling because we're trying too hard. Struggling because we're trying too hard. And the truth is that what we need to learn how to do is just make it part of our routine so that we're just doing it and we're not thinking about goals or thinking about how much trouble we're having doing it well. But just make it part of our routine and make it just something you do. And that in itself will help us. Just making it part of our routine instead of just this high-minded big thing we're doing to try to improve ourselves. That is all important, but the best thing we can do is just make it a thing we do. Just a thing we do. My friend Alex wrote a book called Perfectly Ordinary about meditation and Buddhism and all that stuff, and I think that's sort of what I'm thinking about here. Like, meditation practice is ordinary. Perfectly ordinary. It is just being present. Just being here with what is right now. And we don't think of it that way sometimes, but that is what it is. It's just learning how to be present. One of my teachers calls it the practice of attention, or the path of attention. That's all we're doing, is learning how to pay attention and to be here. And because we're often not here. We're often somewhere else. So that's it. We want to learn how to hold on loosely. It's sort of the Buddha described meditation practice as like a lute. We may think of a guitar instead because of the time and place we live in, but like an instrument. And if the strings are too loose, it doesn't work right. It doesn't work right. You're not going to really hear it correctly. And if the strings are too tight, they could actually even break. But they also don't sound right, and they could actually even break. So the too loose is when we just don't take our meditation practice seriously at all. And then the too tight is when we are just too competitively, aggressively focused. And that is going to be a point of struggle for us. So, that being said, let's have a meditation for a few minutes. I am going to ring my bell, and then I will give the instruction. Sit up as straight as you can. And find a position where your legs aren't going to fall asleep. Generally, it's recommended if you're in a chair, firmly plant your feet on the floor, and if you're not in a chair, cross your legs. And take your hands and I recommend two different things. One is what I call the bowl. It's one hand on top of the other, thumbs gently touching, resting in your lap. Some people say it matters what hand's on top. I disagree. I don't think it matters. And then the other option is just what's called relaxation, which is just what it sounds like. It's just hands on your knees. The point is there's a plan, because if there's no plan, then our hands can easily be a point of distraction. Okay? And I like to do an eyes open practice. So what I do is I put my attention on the wall I've got behind you here, and if you can do that, I think that's great. And if you can't do that, if your walls are distracting or something, we want something boring to look at. If the walls are distracting, another option is to just have your gaze downward a little bit and look at the floor. But I think eyes closed practice is okay. That's just not what I do, but I do think it's fine for people that love that. And begin by taking 3 deep, heavy breaths. And what I want to do with you is the practice that's called open awareness. And in that practice, we don't try to do anything, really. We just pay attention to everything. So rather than trying to banish thoughts from our mind, we're just noticing the thoughts that are coming in. Just noticing them, but trying not to attach to them, but rather letting them pass like clouds in the sky. So if I wonder what I'm having for dinner, I just think I'm hungry, and then I let that pass. I don't start thinking of food options. That's the intent, is I just notice that thought and let it pass. And if I hear a sound, I don't spend a lot of time wondering what that sound is. I just notice that sound and I let it pass. And we'll just sit like this for a few minutes. And that is it for our talk and our meditation for the day. And I want to thank you for taking the time to tune in and to listen to me. And that's it. Have a good day.